This is it. This is the final part of my decade with Subaru, and it's been so much fun to make these. I hope you've enjoyed them all. I've certainly enjoyed making them, not just because it's fun, but it's been really interesting to retrace my steps up to this point and see the progression of things and how this event led to that meeting, led to this, and it's been so much fun. And we finish out with quite a lot still. Admittedly, it's taken me a little bit longer to put this one together. But we start things out in this video in 2019 when I finally get to start competing in stage rally. I get to put all that to work. And then the following year, I become a dad. And then shortly thereafter, COVID happens. And I feel like COVID is going to be, for a lot of car videos, what the gas crisis was. COVID is another stamp in time that just affects everything. And it affected what I was doing as well. And then moving on from that and balancing dad life and race car life and work life and opening a new store and all this other fun stuff. So there's still a lot more to cover, but I wanted to thank you all for joining me so far. If you've missed the other videos, the link is in the description as well as links at the end of the video. But yeah, let's dive right in. March 2019, Rally in the 100 Acre Wood. Huge deal for me because this is my first ever stage rally. That's right, I finally got to strap into a real rally car with a real driver through the real woods and dodge real trees and do it. I got to do stage rally and it was an amazing feeling. I will never forget that event. Sharing the same stages as my heroes, David Higgins, Craig Drew, Travis Pastrana, Ken Block, everybody was there. It was an amazing event, huge turnout, and I'll never forget rolling up to it in our car, ready for Park Expose, and I'm not here to watch. I'm here to compete. I'm part of this now. And then things started to really set in. I couldn't be a fan at that point. I had to do my job, because if I didn't do my job, then we'd put it between the trees and wreck the car and all that, and that would be no fun. So the first day was definitely an eye-opener. I went from screaming fanboy to this is so awesome to holy crud, if I make a mistake then that's a big deal. And it was really eye-opening, that first event, just trying to take it all in and figure out what we were doing and try and set some good times. And at the end of the day, we brought the car home. This rally is known for attrition. It's known for being a car killer. And this little Subaru made it. My driver made it. I made it. Our team, we couldn't have done it without them. It was an incredible event, and I will never, ever forget it, even though parts of it were slightly terrifying. And then I got to help open a new store for Subaru. The retailer that I worked for had opened a brand new facility and had an awesome time being part of that and having this awesome grand opening celebration. And we had a bunch of Subarus out. The Nebraska Subaru Owners Club showed up in force. We got to meet CEO Tom Dahl at the store. He came out and helped do the ribbon cutting ceremony, and it was amazing. And the store and the building and everything was incredible. And shortly thereafter, it was time to hit the road again with our rally car. I got to do another national level event. We went to Ojibwe Forest Rally that same year, and another incredible event, and time to really test and see if the things that we had done in the first rally wasn't just us finishing by sheer luck. This was now time to see if we could compete, if we could start, making progress and start improving and really getting the pacing down and all of that. It's still a ton of work, don't get me wrong, but when things are going right, when you're competing, especially on these roads with these competitors there, with these friends that you've made over time as well, it's an incredible feeling when it's on point. And then when it's not, then it's terrifying. but and at the end of the day, the end of the event, you're just so mentally and physically exhausted from it. But I still loved it. And Travis Pastrana got to sign our car. That was also kind of fun. But yeah, being able to have the opportunity to co-drive with these guys and to work with this team and to help support them with my work helping sponsor things, it was an incredible experience. And also, the last time I would get to see my mentor, Craig Drew, and not quite the last time I would get to see David Higgins being an absolute goober, but that was their last season for rally in the U.S. So got to go back to work and try and figure out what was next, because what was next is being a dad. And nothing really prepares you for fatherhood, but my son Colin was born, and this is late 2019, and he's incredible. Even now, as I'm making this video, it's an emotional time. There's so many things that you don't know what you're doing. You never feel like you're prepared for it. And even though I knew that this meant that things would change for me in terms of the rest of my life, but also immediately, not being able to go out and compete in stage rally because I had just decided that it was time to, focus on being a dad for a year at least. And then COVID happens. But you can't just stop. Life goes on. It just was a little different. And it also meant a lot more time at home. And I wasn't really going to complain about that because hanging out with my son was getting pretty awesome, even though he was stealing my parking spot. But we also still got to do Boxers at Baxter for the Nebraska Subaru Club and all the owners in the area, albeit a little differently this time. Instead of having everybody all together at once, we spread it out over 2 weeks and had the rally cars on display, tried to do things as CDC approved as we could, but at the end of the day, it was still just great to get people together, especially since a lot of these folks hadn't been able to, or hadn't had an outlet really, to see each other. And being able to provide that during the pandemic with everything else going on was still really great, and I'm so thankful that I worked someplace that still allowed us to do this, and thankful for Subaru for still bringing out, their rally car program, display car, and all that fun stuff. So what a great time to still be able to get folks together. My son was still getting more into car stuff. I don't know how. He doesn't have a dad that's absolutely crazy about car things, so getting him hooked on things was just part of the job. I'm not going to complain. And again, spending more time at home to be able to do that while still working was great, but I was also still missing out on stage rally. My team, I managed to train another guy on the team to co-drive, and they went out and did a regional event and had a good old time, because that's what we do with Red Fogo Racing. We put underglow on rally cars and just send it through the woods. And it was really fun seeing them still come together as a team and compete, although I was a little bummed that I was obviously not able to be there with them. But great to support them and help share their story on social media stuff and everything. Just do what I could from home. My son was just growing like a weed, had already turned 1 at this point, and was rounding the corner to another year. And with things starting to ease up a bit with COVID and the pandemic and all that stuff, it was time to get back in the rally car again. And I'm so thankful to my wife for letting me do that. And it was still difficult to go. It was a different kind of rally definitely this time, not just because of the shadow of COVID hanging over our heads and, things still being in place for that. But now, this is the first time I was away from my kid for a while, and that was difficult. And I was still excited and ready to help my team and compete at the rally that I had gotten started at. We were back at the rally in the 100-acre woods, and everything was all ready to go, and our rally car was better than ever, and we were ready to send it, and boy did we ever. The cattle guard jump has never seen that much air from our team, and it was a ton of fun for the first day, and things were really working, and we had a really good pace, and our differential broke. We limped back to service on day 1 and got our first DNF, and that was a bummer. So that, of course, meant that we at least got to go home, and I got to see the wife and kid a day early, and they were fans of that, and I was getting ready to open a second Subaru store. So we'd opened one earlier, but that was just closing an old one and moving into a new location, whereas this was a brand new addition to the area, a second Subaru store. And it was just 4 minutes from my home, so they're like, guess which store you're going to? And I was super stoked to be part of this. Even in the middle of a microchip shortage, it was kind of nice to start with a bunch of new cars right off the bat. But then also because it opened in the summer, they're like, hey, Boxers at Baxter is your baby, so where you go, it goes. So we got to bring back Subaru Motorsports USA with their rally car and got to do Boxers at Baxter at the new store just after it had freshly opened. And it was kind of like a grand opening for it, and it was a great way to bring in all of my Nebraska Subaru Owners Club friends and just let people know in the area that we were here. And it was a wonderful time, really breaking in the new facility with and making use of all that parking lot, which a lot of dealerships don't get to do, especially when the inventory shortage was hitting everybody. So later that fall, I jumped back in the rally car with my friends and strapped myself into the silly seat to read off some pace notes for my driver, and wasn't my best performance. I was actually really bummed with how this rally went. We had a DNF before, but that wasn't our fault. That's just rally. The differential broke. But in this event, I wasn't as on point or as prepared as I should have been. And my mentor had told me, prepare to fail if you fail to prepare. And I kind of felt like I had. I hadn't done as good of a job for my team then, and even though we still managed to finish it, it still left me thinking if it was something I should keep doing.
Colin, how do you spell it?
C-O-L-I-N.
Spells Colin! Yay!
So 2022 rolled around, and I knew that 10 years of Subaru was coming up for me, so I thought it would be fun to go back to the rally in the 100-acre wood. But instead of competing, I thought it would be more fun to go back to the woods with my buddies and watch the race and enjoy it that way. And I'm really glad I did, because it was fun to spectate again. It was fun to just watch and take it in and enjoy things. And this trip really helped remind me and drive home the three things that had gotten me into Subaru in the first place. Those three main things that I mentioned that got me into Subaru 10 years ago are still what I love about Subaru today. All those pieces have come together and have strengthened the love that I have for this brand. Love truly is what makes a Subaru, but it's more than just the companies and the cars, as I've come to realize over the years. And that has been embodied through all the experiences that I've had with them. But in taking care of these, in modifying them, in having fun with them and enjoying them, the cars have played a big role, and I love them. The second part is definitely the community of people around these cars, and not just with Nebraska Subaru Owners Club, as I would soon learn, but all the people around them, whether they work for Subaru, or I worked with them at the store, or I met them at events, or anything like that. All the folks that I've met with in this time, they've all played a part in just enriching my life and the lives of people around them. They've been fantastic people to get to know over the years, and half the reason I go to events is just to see them again. And the third point is rally, and while I didn't realize it 10 years ago when I first got into Subaru, getting into rally was really just going to reinforce the first 2 points. I loved these cars, and they're incredibly capable and pretty much purpose-made to go rallying, albeit a few modifications, obviously. I loved the community around them, which me and my buddies would go to stage rallies to meet the rallying community there. And it didn't really matter what car they were in, whether it was a Subaru, a Ford, a Volkswagen, or otherwise. These are incredible people, and it was just great to kind of feel like that was just an extension of what I already liked and what already got me into Subaru. And so rallying really helped tie all that stuff in together, and it was incredible to go back to the rally on the 100-acre wood in 2022 and run into some old friends. And I got to see David Higgins again, and he got to see a little addition that we had in store while we were out there. My car has become the Higgins Blue STI, and David will agree. He always jokes that it's his car. So when I got the opportunity to put the same carbon fiber wing on the back of my car that he would have won all those championships with, I had to. So I met up with the team at the rally in the 100-acre wood and picked up this beautiful work of art and fixed it to the trunk of my car, and it was an incredible way to cap off 10 years of this amazing journey so far. And not only that, but David Higgins himself was at the event anyway, so it was not only great to catch up with him, but to get that seal of approval on his car. So that's the best way I can think to sum up my decade with Subaru. So from the cars to the events to the people that make all of it happen, it's been an incredible journey, and I can't wait to see what's next, because this is far from the end for it. So thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you so much for watching.